Hey, welcome to the video. In this one, I'm going to break down the 10 to 50K a month roadmap using Instagram ads. This is for online service and education business owners who have a high ticket offer and you're at six figures already. You're looking to scale things further. Maybe you've fluctuated. You've been between 5 and 10, 10 and 20, but you haven't really broken through to that next level. And maybe you're at this place where I know it can feel a little bit risky because you don't want to sacrifice what you've already built, but you do want to get to that next level and you just need some, a roadmap, a simple kind of framework to follow. And so I want to break that down with you. I've done that twice now in my own businesses, but I've helped dozens and dozens of businesses do this. We've also helped a lot of businesses go a lot further than that, hitting 100, 150, 250K a month. But this is where I speak to a lot of people. They're kind of stuck at that 10K a month mark. And this is the route that I know really, really well off the back of my hand. So I wanted to put this training together to kind of break down this specifically. This isn't for people who are at zero. This is going to be very specific for people who are already at six figures. You have a proven offer. You are selling it, over the phone or on Zoom calls, and you just want to grow this thing further. So what we're going to cover in this is first of all, is the problem with six figures, because there is a common problem that a lot of people face. I faced this myself a couple of times, and so I want to break that down for you. What I call the rule of 20, which is how to solve this six-figure problem. What I call the feeder funnel, which I broke down in the last video, but I'm going to go into more specifically in this one. Knowing your numbers, this might sound boring, but it's super fucking important. So I'm going to break this down for you really, really simply so you know what kind of metrics to aim for in your business. Building a brand on the back end, this is like the kind of the long play with your marketing, and email is money. This is super important. Most people are not either doing anything with email at all or doing the bare minimum. And this is where a lot of money is made on the back end. So we want to talk about that as well. So let's get started with what I call the six-figure problem, right? And this is where I was stuck back in 2019, which is like you're making money and spending money. So you're looking at your business income as your personal income, and you make 10K a month, but you spend 10K a month. So basically, the more money you make, the more your expenses go up, and you're not investing much back into the business. There's no compounding growth. There's no strategic reinvesting. And you're 1 or 2 months away from zero. Maybe you don't even realize that right now. But for me, it took a really kind of hard knock to realize this. And this was start of 2020. Things were going well. I was doing about 15K a month in the business. Most of it was retainers. I was charging kind of 3K a month for an ads offer, a done for you ads offer, basically ads agency. And things were, good on paper. I'd gotten comfortable, but at that time I had quite a lot of expenses. I was living in the Netherlands. My wife was doing her master's at the time. So we had a lot of outgoing. She wasn't working. I was making all the money. We had quite an expensive rental. Our lifestyle was quite expensive. We're traveling quite a bit. And then I just invested quite a lot of money into a mentorship. And I put it all on the Amex thinking, yeah, it's fine. We've got 15K a month coming in. It's all going to be good. But then the unexpected happened and, COVID kicked in and basically my business went to zero, literally zero overnight. Like every single client just panicked and left. And I was fucked. Like I was like, oh shit. Like I've gone from like thinking I had all this money, just spending all this money left, right, and center, not really, saving a lot of the time, which was kind of stupid, but also not reinvesting much back into the business, which was stupid. And I was left in a very, very hard position. Like literally, I remember like the first like kind of 4 to 6 weeks, I just didn't know what to do. I was like panicking and like, shit, like I don't know what to do. We drained basically all of our savings just to kind of keep, ourselves afloat, pay for rent and food and just surviving. Plus I had this massive Amex bill as well. So it was not good at all. And I was able to basically sign a few more retainers, get some people on board, and get myself back to a okay level. Like I wasn't back to 15K a month. I think I was back to like 5K a month and just to pay the bills. But I was stuck in this cycle for a while to kind of get back out of that. And it was really not a good place to be. But it taught me some valuable lessons around managing money, but also reinvesting money back into my business to grow it for the long term as well. And also realizing that making 10K a month is not a lot, right? Like you see some people talk about that like it's the pinnacle, but it really is not. Like 10K a month in a business, especially now, like this was 6 years ago, but 2025, 10K a month is not enough. Like that is not going to get you long-term growth. And it's probably not going to give you the lifestyle you want either. And so you need to feed the machine that pays you. You need to feed back into the thing that is actually paying you, which is your business. And this is what most people do. They make money, or this is what most people should be doing. Sorry, they make money, pay it into your business, and then you pay that into your personal account. Right? Most people skip this step, and their Stripe account is attached straight to their personal account, and they're just paying money straight to themselves. Right? That's super dumb. That's what I was doing. It is stupid because you are not looking at this in the right way. You're not treating this like a business. You're just treating it like a job, where you're getting paid this, but it's not a job. It's not secure. It's not the same way as you being on a salary and knowing you're getting paid this every month. Most people treat it that way. I was treating it that way, and that's what fucked me. So I want to make sure that you don't make this mistake as well. You need to treat it like a business, pay yourself into the business, keep an allocation of that, and I'll get onto that in a second, and then pay your personal, right? That is really, really important, which leaves me onto the rule of 20, right? So this is like, you could make this a little bit higher if you wanted to go a bit more aggressively, but reinvest 20% of your revenue into ads, right? That is going to help you so much in the long term and even quite short term as well. And rather than looking at it like you're losing 20% of your income, you're giving yourself the opportunity to 5x your business and pay yourself significantly more. Like maybe you take a short term hit, but long term, you're going to be paying yourself so much more, right? So instead of making 10K and paying yourself maybe 9K after some expenses, you're making 50K and paying yourself 30K and still having a buffer in the bank account as well, in the business bank account. Because let's say you have a couple of slow months, you still built up a buffer in that business to be able to carry on running your ads and grow it back up again as well. Most people never get to that level. And so being in that position now is very, very different. Like mindset wise, just allows you to make better decisions because you're not super reactive. You're not thinking short term. You're able to make long term decisions and you're able to pay yourself more personally. It just unlocks a lot for you in yourself, in your business and your personal life. And when done right, you're growing an audience, email list, potential future buyers, meaning this compounds. So this is being very conservative, right? 20% is based on the fact that you're doing a 5x return on your ad spend, and that's conservative. Getting this done right, you're going to be doing a lot more. Like our current ads are doing 15, that's actually a typo, it's 12, 15x return on ad spend, right? So it means that over time, this performs better and better and better if you do this in the right way, using what I call reverse organic. I'm going to get on that in a second. If you're new to my channel, you might have heard of that before. If you've been through some of my videos, you may have seen me talk about that in the past as well. That this is building brand on the back end. This is what people like Alex Hormozi, Iman Gadzhi have done, where initially, if you've been following them for a long time, you'll know this, but they grew their businesses with ads, then built their brand on the back end. They didn't actually grow a massive brand and then grow a business. They just have a big brand now that they're kind of 10 years or 8-10 years down the line. So that's the rule of 20, and that's super important. And like, if you get that right, then that's going to be so powerful for you. And you're not in a brick and mortar business, right? Like you have minimal expenses. Most businesses, if you look at like a local restaurant or even an online business like an e-commerce store where there's physical products, their margins are super low. They have a lot of overhead to run their business, whereas an online business is very lean. I do believe in having a small team in place. I don't think that you need to be doing this as a one person business. Like having a small team in place is useful, but even using things like AI allows you to keep your your team lean, which means you have massive margins, right? Like our business runs at like, I think probably like 75+%. And that's with reinvesting into ads and things as well. So super profitable, which means 20% of your revenue is not a lot. Like you still have a huge amount in your business to be able to pay yourself a lot at the end of the day as well. So if you're in the online business space, like you should definitely be reinvesting 20% into your ads. If you're trying to grow, if you're in a season of growth, that's going to be really valuable and super important to get you from that 10 to 50K a month. I speak to a lot of people where they're spending like $10, $20 a day and they're making money. And then they're like, oh, I'm not getting anywhere. Like I'm just doing the same amount every month. I'm like, well, yeah, because you're not increasing it each month. Like you're making money and then you're not reinvesting that money back into your ads. Like you're just doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result, which is, not going to work. So you need to be, reinvesting a set percentage, because then as you make more, it means you're consistently reinvesting more to make more. And it's just this like really positive feedback loop, figure of 8 feedback loop. So let's break some of this down, like the feeder funnel. Like what are we actually investing that 20% back into? And this is, I went into this a couple of weeks ago in a video, but any funnel is going to be broken down like this: top of funnel, middle of funnel, bottom of funnel. Basically, top of funnel is the widest portion of the funnel because you're reaching new people. Then as people go through your funnel, there's going to be less and less people because people are going to fall off. They're not going to be the right people for your offer, and they're not relevant, so they're not going to pay attention, or they're just not interested. And so naturally, every single kind of marketing funnel looks like that. But how we set this up, and if you want to make this as streamlined and as effective and get the most kind of bang for buck as possible, this is kind of what we look to do. On the front end, we're looking to grow your audience. And the three primary things we're looking to do, especially with Instagram ads, one is like get a follow, right? Like that's not super high value right now, but then getting them on your email list and getting them into your DMs is, especially your email list. This is really, really valuable. So we can kind of like hit all three things at once, which is where you set up an ad where they follow you and comment a keyword to get access to a resource. We use ManyChat automation here. You can't really see it that well, but we use that to get them to follow you, grab their emails, send them to your email list, and then send them to this page, which is what they're opting into, which is kind of like a training VSL hybrid. This is where they kind of opt in, gives them some value, breaks down your offer, and then a small percentage of people are going to book a call. And this is a small percentage, right? Like the goal isn't to try and convert 20, 30% of people. This is sales-led marketing. This is people who are kind of this tip of the iceberg, who are buying now, right? Like this is from Sabri Subaru's book, Sell Like Crazy, where 60% of people are not problem aware, so they're not going to buy anytime soon. 20% are problem aware, but they're kind of like still, they just know what their problem is. They don't really know how to solve it or what to do about it. 17% are in information gathering mode. These are people who are actively looking for a solution, but maybe they're not ready to buy straight away. They might buy soon, and we'll show you how you can kind of reach those guys soon as well. And then 3% are buying now. So that's really what this funnel's doing at the start. It's finding that 3%, getting some calls, bots, getting some progress, getting some cash flow. That's really, really valuable. And then further opportunities, which I'm going to go into in a sec, is optimizing your profile, DMs, stories, retargeting, email, and YouTube. You don't have to do all of these things straight away, but this is where you're going to go from like a 5x return on ad spend to that 10 or 15, or sometimes we've had clients do even like 20x return on ad spend. So this can work really, really well. And this is the feeder funnel. Now, I'll just break down an example ad for this because a lot of people ask me like, well, what does that actually look like? And these are some principles that you can, you don't have to copy this ad exactly, but these are principles that you want to apply. First of all, you want to make sure you're speaking to your ICP. So this is like your ideal client persona. Like who is it that you're actually trying to reach, and call them out in the ad, connect with their problem, show them the result, and bridge the gap. So I do this indirectly here. So I don't say, hey, are you a coach? I say these 7-second ads are outperforming anything I've ever seen after running ads for over 600 coaches, with a result screenshot of somebody who's just launched some new ads and made $5,000 from one sale. So what I do is I'm calling out the ICP of coaches here. I'm connecting with their problem, which is indirect. I'm like not necessarily saying, hey, your ads suck, but I'm talking about these ads working better, meaning if they're opting into that, it's because their ads aren't working. Show them the result, that's the screenshot, and then bridging the gap is this new thing, right? These 7-second ads are outperforming anything I've ever seen, and this is a 7-second reel, right? This is literally just a B-roll reel of me kind of at my laptop with this text and image overlay, runs for 7 seconds on repeat, works really well. We also do talking head videos and stuff as well. Those are a little harder to get right because you have to make sure the hook is really, really good in the first few seconds. Otherwise, you lose people. A few more variables with those, but if you're good on camera, if you're good at talking to camera, then I'd definitely play about with those as well. But this is just an example. So, you don't have to copy this exactly, but this is an example. And these are the things you want to make sure that you have in your ad as well. I do have a playbook that breaks this down in a lot of detail. It's less than $5. I'll put the link below if you want to get access to that. It will break down everything through what ads to set up, kind of scripting of those ads, targeting, all of that stuff. I also have like a full breakdown of how to build out a VSL, which is this thing here, what to put in the scripts and stuff like that as well. So if you want to check that out, I will link that below. But let's carry on with the video. And so next, what we want to look at is knowing your numbers, right? Know your fucking numbers. So most people make decisions on emotion, which I did not spell it right there, not data. So you want to track your numbers and the decisions are made for you, right? You want to look at a spreadsheet, know what's going on, know where the bottlenecks are, or maybe there aren't even any bottlenecks. and that helps you make a decision. And so for most people, you're trying to book a sales call. What you want to know is, what does it cost you to get a call booked? So let's use an example of like $150. How many calls do you need to make a sale? So let's use the example of like an 80% show up rate and a 25% close rate. That means you close 1 in 4 people and you need 5 calls because one of those isn't going to show up. So you have 4 actual sales calls. You close one of them. That means you need 5 calls. 5 times 150 in this example is 750 per sale, right? Cost you $750 to make a sale. Now, let's say you have a $5,000 offer. Divide that by $750. That means you have a 6.66 recurring return on ad spend, right? ROAS means return on ad spend. 6.66. That's very good, right? Very good. You can make that a lot better, but that's a good starting point. And what's more important is your profit, right? So it's not just about the return on ad spend, it's what's the profit. So profit is basically the price point minus your ad spend, which is 4,250. That's before taking into account other expenses in your business. But based on this right now, is 4,250. So that's great, right? Most people will spend this in a month, meaning their growth is too slow. So, like, let's say you do this, you spend $750 to make a $5,000 sale. The question is, like, how fast are you going to spend that money? Because you could spend $750 a day and make a sale a day, or you could spend $750 a month and make a sale a month. And this is the problem where most people get stuck, is they just spend way too little and they're trying to optimize all these small things in their business to try and get more out. But really, they just need to spend more. Going back to that rule of 20% and reinvesting, that's how you're going to get there faster. So minimum, you want to be spending this like a week. And, if you have a $5,000 offer, spending $750 a week to make a $5,000 is a no-brainer, right? Obviously, if your goal is 50K, you need to be making 10 sales. And based on these numbers, you need to be spending 7,500 a month, right? Now, you might not do that straight away. If you're doing 10K right now, you're not going to go and spend that next month, but it's going to compound and build month on month. And then you can start getting there pretty quickly when you pull this off. Remember that 20% rule. So if your goal is 2 sales a week, right? In this case, your ad spend will be $750 times 2. That's $1,500 a week. Again, know your numbers, remove emotion, spend $1,500, make 10,000. That's 8,500 profit a week, right? If you set this up right. Now, these are just example numbers. Your numbers might be higher than that. They might be a little bit lower than that. That's fine. If it's profitable, keep it running. People freak out and they're like, oh man, I spent, $2,000 to make a sale. And it's like, well, you spent 2,000 to make 5,000. That's still $3,000 profit that you didn't have before. That's still a good thing. Doesn't mean you can't improve it, but like that's still good and you don't want to turn it off. So don't freak out if your numbers aren't at this level yet. But I also want to show you how you can improve these numbers, and that's on the back end of your marketing. And so the back end is what I call reverse organic. So we're not using organic here to go viral and create a massive audience. We're using organic to nurture our audience, which is a little different. It means it allows you to make your content much more specific, because you're not, just following trends, posting random shit to get loads of views. You're going deep with your audience and you're able to build a lot of value. And so content is where you're going to build know, like, and trust. And email is usually the best place to make direct offers, right? So here's like a breakdown of my thing, book a call or buy now. Most of the time it's book a call. Like, we do work with some people that sell through sales documents, and I've done that in the past. But for the most part, if you're selling a high ticket offer, it's 5, 10, 20K. We have clients that have 30K offers. You want to be booking calls for that. And this is how you take your 5x return on ad spend and make it a 15x return on ad spend. This compounds over time, so it's not overnight, but over the months, you'll get more and more out of your ads as you optimize the back end as well. And this is, this 17 and 20%, the problem aware information gathering mode. And it will be some people in this 60% of the not problem aware that become problem aware over time. This is going to be a little bit outside of your control. This is more going to be them that just experiencing the problem in their life and realizing they need to solve it, but they'll come through as well. And this is the middle of funnel, so nurturing the audience, right? So what we want to do is we want to educate and inspire. So I do a lot of educational content on YouTube. That's why you're here watching this. Like this video, for example, has done well. It's had like 1,800 views, which, from like an influencer standpoint isn't great. But when like these are very specific people watching this content and they're clicking a link to watch a VSL afterwards, that's very good, right? And it's 33 minutes long. It's had high retention. That's really good, right? Email, this is again where we can get more specific. Like this email had, nearly 54% open rate, 6.5% click-through rate, and that's clicking through to an offer. Reels, these are like, kind of minimum viable content because it's short, it's snappy. You're not able to get the amount of depth, but you can do things to build know, like, and trust, share more personality, share your story. And then also like stories as well. I don't have any screenshots here, but stories are a really good way to promote YouTube content. And so that's how you get more out of it. If you're running follower ads as well, like your followers are going to see your stories. You can promote trainings and resources in there. They message you a keyword, it fires off your ManyChat, and then it goes through this cycle again. They go to your email list, they go to a YouTube video, they go through this content. Like it's an ecosystem, and they kind of fire back through. I have sometimes people like opt into 5, 10, 15 different things in mind before they book a call. And that's fine, right? Everybody has their own journey. And this is why this nurture piece is really important, because some people are going to go slow, some people are going to go fast. But if you just focus on the front end, that's where you're going to be stuck doing a 5x return on ad spend and not a 10 or a 15x return on ad spend. And then lastly is bottom of funnel. And this is like the conversion piece. Like, how do we take somebody who's warm, they know, like, and trust us, but they're not working with us right now. And really fundamentally, this is making offers. And most people don't do this at all or very infrequently. And so you want to be making offers frequently. And you can do that on your Instagram stories where it's quite direct, like, hey, we're opening 3 spaces for X, Y, and Z. Message me keyword for the details. And then you go into a DM setting conversation to get them on a call. This could be a little bit less direct with an Instagram carousel where it's like value based and you're breaking down things. And then at the end of it, it's like, hey, if you want more details around how to do this or plug this into your business or do this with your life, comment keyword and I'll send you the details. Again, fires off ManyChat, gets them into that as well. YouTube links. So any YouTube video you have, like, you want to be linking them to something underneath. So you can direct them to a call booking page or that video sales letter page that I showed you before. Really, really valuable real estate if you're not using that as well. Retargeting to DMs. Most people do not utilize retargeting enough. So this is an ad where it goes to a warm audience. So people that already follow you, or they've clicked through to one of your, if you have like a website or a funnel and pages, they get pixeled. You can retarget them there as well. Super valuable. In those types of ads, what we want to do is be a bit more direct, where, basically like an Instagram story or a carousel, retarget with them. And then they message or comment a keyword and they go into that process as well. You can automate those DMs with ManyChat as well. Like, we do that quite a lot rather than me manually going in, because I'll be honest, I don't stay on top of it very well with these kind of DMs. So I use automations for that. Warm outreach, you can do this as well. Like, if you need to really kind of like bump those numbers up. So if you have people that are following you, if they've previously opted into stuff and they're in the DMs and then they've kind of like slipped through the cracks, or you've not spoken to them in a little while, or if it's somebody you had a sales call with a while ago, you can reach back out to those people, just see how they're doing. Say, hey, look, actually been working with somebody like yourself recently, break down a case study, an example, and book them in for a call that way. And then bonus, I wouldn't do this until you've got all this other stuff in place. Like, make sure you have those foundations in place. But a bonus is using an LTO, which is a low ticket offer. And so we've been doing this for the last, I've been doing this on and off for the last year, but consistently for the last 6 months. So since the start of 2025, I have a low ticket offer, and we have a good ascension rate on that. So people buy it, and then sometimes a week, sometimes 2 weeks, sometimes 3 months, sometimes 6 months later, people buy. This also liquidates some of the ad spend as well, which is good. Right now, this is actually liquidating between 80 and 100% of ad spend. Like, it was a little bit higher, but as we've scaled it, it's dropped a little bit, meaning like I'm actually getting back that ad spend very, very quickly, like not just on the high ticket offers, but on the low ticket offers as well. I could optimize this more, but my goal with this isn't to like build like a massive kind of low ticket thing where I've got a million different upsells. Like, we basically have one product, and there's an order bump to it if they want it, and then that's it. So it doesn't make huge amounts because it's not a huge fee, but it does help scoop people up. And also what's valuable is because people have paid like even just a small amount of money, they actually consume the thing that we're selling and the resource, and they're actually more likely to go through it. They pay attention, and then they reach out there as well. So these are all different ways that we scoop people up and turn that ad spend from a 5x return on ad spend to a 15x return on ad spend. So this is like the full roadmap from 10 to 50K. Now, you can take this a lot further than 50K, and this is what we're doing as well. Like, our goal is to get this to over 100K this year. Like, ideally, we want it to be 100K a month profit by the end of the year, which we're on track to do as we're scaling up, ramping it up slowly and steadily. Like, it's not crazy, it's not super stressful, and just slowly compounding and compounding. Last few weeks I've been away in Japan, so I've actually slowed things down a little bit, but now I'm ramping back up. And yeah, this is the full system. And so if this is something you want to get built out in your business, then we can definitely help. And if you're at six figures, you're looking to scale, looking to get support, systems, get this all plug and play into your business, get our feedback, work with us one-to-one, like we work with you really in depth on this. I'm going to put a link below as well. And you can check out our offer. And if that resonates with you, if that's something that you feel is going to be helpful, from there you can book a marketing audit call with myself where I'll jump in and I'll kind of look at everything you're doing and see if this makes sense for your business right now, and if we can help you, plug and play this. But you need to be in the mindset where you are happy to reinvest 20% of what you're making back into your marketing. Otherwise, I can't help you. Like if you're coming on and you want to spend $10 a day on ads, then this isn't going to be for you. But check out our playbook because you can start running ads on a low budget if you just run some of those strategies as well. If you found this useful, hit subscribe. Super appreciate it. And if you have any questions, feel free to comment below and I will get back to you as best as I can. But I will see you in the next one. Hope you found this useful. Much love. Peace out.